Okay, you still see everything? Yeah? And I'm
Yep.
recording. Okay. So, my fear, of course, is, we're home again tomorrow and or Friday. If we do get any more snow, it's going to be bad. So we got to keep moving on slowly. But we are going slower than we would be at school. I've already kind of adjusted this out. So yesterday, I asked you to take notes on this slide here. Did you take notes on this? Ryan says yes. If you did not, make sure you get logged on and copy this down. There is a PDF with just this document. And this is the NAND or NOR to AOI. And NAND is done in 2.2.2. The NOR is handled in the next section in 2.2.3. Okay? So let's first look at this with the PowerPoint. Okay, so a NAND gate or a NOR gate can be used as universal gates to replace all AOI gates. So it takes a combination of gates to replace an inverter. So a NAND gate as an inverter gate. Okay, I guess this is just reviewing what the truth table for a NAND is, not an AND. So instead of a 1, 1, or 0, 0, 0, 1, it's 1, 1, 1, 0, not AND. Okay, and of course that is one of De Morgan's rules. That's where NAND and NOR comes from, is De Morgan. So a NAND as an inverter gate, remember that little bubble on the end acts as an inverter. And it signifies a negative. On a flip-flop, it signifies an active low input. But in this case, it signifies that we flip the output. So if you want to invert something, you have to run two wires to your two inputs, but you just take you take the same input and run it to both inputs of your NAND gate, and that's equivalent as an inverter. Okay? A NAND as an AND. Okay, what do you have to do? We're NANDing them together and then inverting it. So, of course, that's a double negative because coming out of the first NAND gate is not XY. And then if you invert that, you have a double negative. Now, it does take two gates to create a NAND or to create an AND equivalency. So it does take two gates to create that. But those two inputs, or that combination of gates, gives us an output of X and Y. And if you put the inverter before the NAND gate, now basically you have an OR gate, and it takes this combination of three gates in order to get that. And I know you're probably saying, well, what is the point of this? Well, one is it allows us to build a circuit with one single gate. And the NAND gate is used more often than the NOR gate. But my uncle, who worked on computers and on circuits his whole life, he used to fix computers for Ohio Department of Bureau of Motor Vehicles. That was his job. He traveled the state of Ohio for 40 years, and he fixed the computers. And we're going back to the days of old-time computers. And it was not a Windows-based system, but he's got boxes and boxes of NAND gates. Almost everything was done with NAND gates because you could just use one chip. So you identify the chip that's bad and replace one chip, and everything's done with one chip. Anyways, the other purpose is it can sometimes allow for optimization. So here's the one slide that I had you copy yesterday, all in one place. We have the AND is this combination of 2 gates. The OR is this combination of 3 gates. The inverter is this combination of 1 gate, wiring the same input to both inputs on the NAND gate. So if we are going to implement a circuit entirely with NAND, we first would want to implement it in AOI, at least know what we're going to have. And then what you do is you replace every AND or inverter with its NAND equivalent, and then redraw the circuit. And what you can do is identify and eliminate any double inverters where you have back-to-back inverters. So that does allow for some simplification in some circuits, and some circuits are better suited to NAND, some circuits are better suited to NOR. And then you redraw your circuit. So here's a AOI circuit. We have BC not or AC. Okay, and what are we looking at here? We would be looking at, it's only 4 gates, right? Doesn't seem that complicated. It's only 4 gates, but that would be 3 chips, right? We would have an inverter chip. We would have a, 4, if we were breadboarding this, we would have an AND chip, and there's 1 OR chip, the 74LS32. So that would be 3 different chips. So what we're going to do is we're going to redraw this. So this gate here, the inverter gets replaced with that gate. The 2 AND gates get replaced with those 2, and the OR gate gets replaced with that one. So it would look like this. We redraw the whole circuit. There's the inverter. These 2 gates here. I don't know if can you see my mouse moving when I'm talking? I think so, right? So those 2 gates is an AND. Those 2 gates is an AND. These 3 gates on the end is an OR. And then what you do is look at canceling any back-to-back inverters. So when you cancel the back-to-back inverters, now we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4 gates. This entire circuit could be modeled with 1 chip, 1 NAND chip. And if we did it in AOI, it would take 3. Okay, does that make sense? Can somebody say yes or nod? At least Ryan's nodding.
Yeah.
Jacob, you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. So, of course, the next slide goes through the Boolean algebra of why that's the same. And that's what I was just saying is we would have total number of 3 integrated circuits, whereas with this one, we are down to 1 IC. Okay? So that, in effect, is one example in the PowerPoint. And now, if we look at the NAND situation here, what we have is they like voting issues, because we have another voting booth problem. We have yes, there have been lots of issues with voting, huh? Not really. But we have an electronic voting booth, and the problem is, in this case, we have a monitoring system. We have 4 different booths, but they either have to follow social distancing guidelines. Maybe this is perfectly fine, right? Social distancing. So the booths are too close together, or, there's no blinds between them, so we'd be violating privacy rules. So we have 2 different issues going on here, where we want to have a signal that says whenever a booth is available, and another output whenever the privacy rule is violated. Okay, so you can only have, you can have somebody at A and C or B and D, but you can't have 2 booths next to each other that are occupied. So for simplicity's sake, they already did the K mapping for you. So you basically have two circuits that we want to draw out in AOI and in NAND. And those two circuits, we have for the booth, we have a bunch of don't cares in the booth circuit, because if there's an alarm, we don't care if there's a booth available, because here somebody, if we have an alarm situation where the privacy rule is being violated, we don't care, right? Does that make sense? So that's why we have all those X's in there, and that of course simplifies the circuit. So we have the booth circuit that's A naught, B naught, or C naught, D naught, and we have the alarm circuit that's AB or BC or CD. Okay, so basically that's our assignment, is to draw those two circuits out in AOI and then do the conversion into NAND. One of those circuits is going to simplify nicely. The other one's going to get ugly. And basically then the next day, we'll look at the same thing with NOR. And the assignment will be the same. Okay, any questions? Matthew, you got this?
Got it.
You're in? You got it? Okay. So since we are remote learning, instead of expecting you to get this done in one day, we're going to say this assignment would be due by tomorrow. Okay, so if we are home again tomorrow, no Google Meet tomorrow, and you have the today and tomorrow to work on this assignment, to get this done. If we're home, go ahead and submit it, and then I can take a look at it. If we're at school, we'll have class time, and I'll look over your shoulders at school and your notebooks at school, or whatever you're drawing on tomorrow. If we're home again on Thursday and Friday, we'll probably have another Google Meet on Friday to talk about the NOR. And again, we're stretching this out over 2 days since we're on remote learning. Okay, any questions? You think you got this?
Uh-huh.
All right. If you need something, get a hold of me. But no planned meets tomorrow. But if you need me, I can still meet with you or do a Google Meet, or, you can still take pictures of your circuit or whatever. If you need help, that's what I'm here for. All right? All right. I'll let you go, let you work. And if I don't hear from you, I hope to see you tomorrow. But if I don't see you tomorrow at school or Friday, we'll do a Google Meet again Friday. All right? Need anything else, guys? All right.
Do not believe so.
Huh?
No, we're good.
You're good. All right. Okay, I'll let you go. And of course, we'll see you sometime later this week. Matthew, you good? You turned your...
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good? All right.
Yeah.
All right, very good. And I'll stop the video and post it, and I'll see you sometime.
See you,
All right.
Steve.